that. You feel that? That's good right there. And it immediately takes out the loop. Feeling like you're going uphill, because when you just hit floating on top of it, it's almost like I'm gonna I have no choice but to stay on my backside, and everything becomes like a loop. Does that make sense?
When we're in the cage, it's more mechanical stuff. Swing plane, what they're doing with their hands, whether or not they're trapping them hands, their path to the baseball, whether they're using the ground to hit.
But my front side can't just be floating when I'm hitting it. It has to be down into the ground.
He's very diligent. Coach Horner is a very, very hands-on coach. Does a tremendous job with our guys. He has, a wealth of experience. Most of his experience, obviously, is at the professional level.
But it's the same feeling. The base is really, really good. It's really good. Now it's just a simple fact of getting that feeling of you're used to hitting from high.
He can kind of point them to the reality of the minor leagues and what it takes to be a big leaguer and how fortunate or lucky or good that you have to be to get there. And here's what some of the guys that he's coached that are now in the big leagues have done to get there, and they had this kind of talent, or they could handle this thing.
They could go down into the ground. Good. Good.
We're trying to get Blake to use his legs a little bit. He's a big guy and he's got a lot of leverage. But the one thing that we're trying to get him to do is to try to use his legs a little bit more. And he's doing it, and he's doing it a good job, but he's using his legs kind of pushing up towards the sky rather than pushing level or down into the ground.
Does that make sense? Yeah. So now that your base is a little bit lower, you can't go low back to high. It has to be from where it starts from, it has to be down into the ground.
When you hit and you create leverage, you have to use the ground. So you create that leverage or that torque. Because he's big and his arms are long, he creates a lot of whip with his barrel. So he's going to have some power when he starts to figure it out.
And once that goes, oh my goodness, watch out. Seriously, I'm not kidding you. Lopi, on the video that I watched today.
In Jordan Lopez's case, there's a lot of things that he does that he attacks the ball, and it's really, really deep on him, meaning like it's almost way inside of his front foot when he's making contact.
Which gives you no shot to be on time. And so now when you finally get there, this is where you're fouling the ball off, rather than fighting it off here. Does that make sense? So it's a timing thing with you. It's just a timing thing. That's why yesterday it looked like you were almost swinging in water.
Sometimes when Jordan Lopez attacks the ball too far out in front of him, the barrel is way far below his hands, and so it's really skinny. If you can imagine it facing the ball, how skinny it would be. And that's just trying to get him to understand that he needs to keep his barrel above his hands towards the plane of the swing longer.
Because the swing is fine, everything's good. Yes, you get a little steep at times, but I think you get steep because you're late.
It's more of a trying to get the kid to understand of where he can hit the ball, where he's going to be flatter. So when he does get into the zone, it's closer to almost parallel to the ground rather than straight up and down to the ground.
I immediately drop my barrel because I try to get into the strike zone faster. Does that make sense? So the steepness, I think, is coming because of the simple fact of you're attacking the ball too late and your timing's off.
In order to do that, he's got to try to make his contact closer to his front foot to where his swing is going to be just a little bit flatter in the zone.
The last two, where do you think you made contact on? Right almost even with your front foot.
Horner's great. It's just he's real calm, easy to talk to, and if you're having trouble, he's there for you. And, he looks for things that you need to work on, and he'll help you out. And whenever you need him, he's always there.
You know what I mean? It's a round ball, round bat. And you're trying to go square. It ain't going to happen right every time. Just trust the fact that the swing is right, and you just miss-hit the ball.
The one thing about hitting is you can't hit if you're tight. You can't hit if you're thinking. And so I just try to remind them that, hey, it's a round ball, round bat. It's difficult to do. You just got to do the best you can when you're in there, when you're in the box and you're competing against the guy.
You'll be just fine. You really will.